If you are a Squarespace web designer, you know how much goes into building a Squarespace website. So today I wanted to show you what I consider my secret weapon when I'm building websites. If you have code snippets that you reuse, if you are looking for an extended color palette, if you want to quickly create custom CSS, this is for you. If you stick around until the end, I have a coupon code for you to use for this secret weapon that I'm going to talk about. So don't miss that. I'll also drop it in the description below. Okay, I am here in a Squarespace template that I have just added to my account, and I wanted to walk you through how I use this tool. Now, first of all, what is it? It is Will Meyer's membership. It's called Code Curious. If you're interested in joining, I do have a coupon code for you that I will share at the end. But I want to show you how I'm using this on a daily basis with my website builds. Now, before we get into all the ins and outs of the designer toolkit, I do want to, full disclosure, share that Will is a friend. We even have a podcast together for Squarespace designers called Somewhat Useful. And any links or codes below will be affiliate codes. So if you choose to sign up, I will get a little something back from Will. It won't affect your cost at all. All right. So first step is to join Will's Code Curious membership. But in addition to what I'm showing you, there is a really robust Slack community full of super helpful designers. So if you get stuck, if you need a hand, if you have questions about anything, this Slack community is amazing. Also, if you purchase any of Will's plugins, which I usually do, own so many of them. I have a business license for them so I can add them to more than one site. You can use this 20% off discount for those plugins. So most of his business plugins are around $60. You're going to get $12 off, which is almost a month worth of this membership. So I think it's a no-brainer, but I wanted to share those two items with you. And then I want to show you the rest of this as well. The Chrome extension, the code library, the targeting library, and Will's code catalog that all come along with this. All right, once you've signed up, you're going to have access to Will's Squarespace Designer Toolkit. Now, the first thing that you can do is take a little tour through here to see what's included. Once you see that, go ahead and download the extension. You're going to add that to your Chrome browser. So I have the extension added here, and you can see that all of the things that are over here are mapped on here in addition to this handy Lorem Ipsum generator. So I'm going to hop into a website template, show you how I'm using this, and then you can see if it will be a fit for you in your business. Okay, I'm here in this Squarespace website. Now, a lot of times when you're working on a Squarespace website, you're going to use code that you've used on other sites before, and you maybe have that saved in a document somewhere, or maybe you go to the old site to grab it. I have a little code library here, so I always use this code, for example. It's text wrap balance and pretty. I can copy that and then come over here and just drop it into custom CSS on this site. So anything that you use pretty often, I would set up in here. And I use it for other stuff too. So I mentioned that Will and I have a podcast together. Every time we publish it to YouTube, we get hit with a copyright violation, which is not the case. We actually have a license to use this. And so we have to paste all of this stuff in and prove that we have a license to use the music. So I just added that here too because it's really handy to get to. And I'm doing that, every week or so when we're publishing regularly. So you can use this to save anything that you are using frequently. Now, in addition to your code library, I wanted to show you some of the other things you can do here as well. There is Explore Code. So Will regularly publishes code for his Code Curious members, and you can find all of it here. And these are super helpful and they don't require any additional cost. So these are not plugins. These are just code snippets that Will has created. So for example, if you want 2 buttons on your list sections, the code is here for that. You can scroll around and look at this, but there is a ton here. So a lot of times I find something that has already been created here. So if you want a really simple newsletter block to look really clean instead of the Squarespace normal styling, that's here too. So once you join Code Curious, you have access to every single piece of code here, which is huge. But let's say that there is some code that isn't there that you want for a particular site. So I'm playing around with this Squarespace template. Let's say that I want to add a solid color bar, just a little delineator right above the footer here. So what I can do is go to Robo Will. Now this is Will's AI tool that will help you with code on Squarespace, and it works amazingly well. And if we look at my history, you can see I've been using it a ton over the last 2 weeks for a custom build that I've been doing. But let's go ahead and just hop in here. And the best part of this tool to me is that I can select an area that I want to focus on in Squarespace. And so it gives the AI all the context that it needs to be able to create this code seamlessly. So I'll hit select and I'll hit my footer. And I can say something like, I would like a solid color bar above the footer that is 4 pixels tall and is my accent color. So let's go ahead and let Robo Will think about that. You can, if you want, see all of the context that it has here. I don't typically need to see that. I just want the answer. So here we go. It's pulling the section ID for me, so I no longer need that block identifier, section ID identifier. It's doing all that for me. And you'll notice here that for the background color, it's pulling in the variable for the accent color. So if I change it, it's going to update it automatically. I don't have to go back into my code and do that. So let's add this in. And you can see, there we go. But this is just one example of things that I've used this for. Let's do another one. Let's go back and do a new chat. And let's say I want to round the corners on this summary block. So let's select it. Round image corners. And again, it is finding out the block ID. It's getting me a border radius of 12, and it's letting me know I can adjust this to more subtle rounding, more pronounced curves, or circles. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it in here. And you can see my corners are rounded, and then I can follow the instructions and make the border radius larger if I want. But this is just so simple and fast. I'm not moving back and forth between different apps. It's all built in here in this extension that I can view right on my Squarespace website. Well, what else can the Squarespace Toolkit do? We've talked about Explore Code. We've looked at my code library. We've looked at Robo Will. Lorem Ipsum may seem simple, but every time I have to add a big paragraph of text, I find myself going to loremipsum.com, blah, blah, blah. But here, what I can do is just click on it. So you can decide what style you want, how many paragraphs you'd like, how many headings you'd like. And you can see it's already copied 2 paragraphs, 2 sentences for me. I can come and just paste those in here, and then I can style it once it's in, and it's done. So this is a great way to quickly get Lorem Ipsum without having to hop off, search for the Lorem Ipsum site, and come back. All right, what else can this toolkit do? This is another one that I use a lot, colors and fonts. So even if I'm on another website and I'm curious about what color palette it's using, so for example, let's go to my website and let's look at the color palette. Here you can see my primary color palette, my extended palette. These are all the colors I've used on my site, and accents that I could use for other purposes. And then remember when we did that code and it gave us the variable for the accent color? We can grab that here just by clicking the color that we want and using it in our code, which is really, really handy because then if you update these colors, you don't have to go back and update your code. There are also some cheat sheets here for section theme variables. So heading extra large color, primary button background color, and you can view lots more of these as well. So if you're writing code on your own, this is really handy. Although I have to admit, I've been using Robo Will more and more. So I am using this to find color palettes for inspiration that I love. And you can also add your own palette here below. So lots of things you can do here with the palette under colors and fonts. You can also do the same thing for fonts. So you can see the font family that I'm using on my website. If we go back to this site and go to fonts, we can see the fonts on this site as well. So lots of handy information here if you're just stalking other Squarespace sites and you're curious about their colors and fonts, really easy to find that information. And then finally, the last thing here that I love is I mentioned that I've purchased a bunch of plugins from Will already, and you can see this is Mega Menus, one that I've purchased that I use a lot. You can actually go through and look at the different categories here if you're looking for a plugin that Will might have. Or if you click here, you can see the ones that you've purchased. Lots of different ways to view these plugins. So rather than looking for something on the web or Will's website, you can just hop into your toolkit and look for it here. You can search. So for example, if I want to look at accordions, can look at these plugins here, and you can click in to get the plugin and you'll get that additional 20% off for being a member of Code Curious. And then after that, it's just loaded here into your purchase plugins and you never have to hunt for it again. So this has been a tool that I'm really considering my secret weapon. It's making me so much more efficient. I feel like I'm saving a lot of time when I'm doing a website build. And I hope that you find it helpful too. Okay, so I promised you a coupon code if you stuck around until the end, and I actually have two for you. So if you want to join Code Curious, check it out. Try out the Web Designer's Toolkit, which again is saving me so much time. If you want to try it out monthly, you can use code Christy Monthly for 75% off your first month. Or if you are all in, you can use Christy Annual to save $30 off your annual payment. Now, if you have more questions about the membership, the best person to answer that is Will. I'm going to drop a link below to Will's website so you can learn more about his Curious Coder membership, about the Squarespace Designer's Toolkit, and everything else that I've showed you today. If this was helpful, I'd love if you could drop a comment below or like the video. That helps other people find my videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I wish you all the best with your web design business.